You should never trust a man who hides his true nature. Olivia Carter's grandmother's voice echoed in her mind as she stepped into the shadowed cafe. The air was thick with the scent of wet earth from the storm outside, the low hum of conversation barely audible over the sound of rain tapping against the windows. Olivia had no idea that tonight, her world would shatter. Her eyes met his across the room, Ethan Blackwood. He was unlike anyone she had ever seen. His tall frame exuded a quiet, magnetic power, and his eyes, deep and burning like embers, held her captive. She felt a pull, an undeniable attraction, and before she knew it, she was walking toward him. "Olivia," he said softly, his voice smooth like velvet, sending a shiver down her spine. "I knew I would find you here." His gaze lingered on her, intense and unsettling, but she couldn't look away. "What are you doing here?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper, a sense of unease creeping over her. Ethan's lips curled into a small smile. "I came to find you," he replied, his voice thick with something she couldn't quite place. "I've waited so long to meet you." Olivia froze, confusion flooding her thoughts. "What do you mean?" He took a step closer, and she could feel the heat of his presence, like a storm about to break. His eyes darkened. "I've known about you long before you knew me." Olivia's heart raced. Something wasn't right. She had heard rumors, whispers about the mysterious Ethan Blackwood, strange, unsettling things. But none of it mattered. The pull was too strong. She felt it, that undeniable connection. "I don't understand," she whispered, her breath catching. Ethan's smile faded, his eyes growing distant, almost sad. "You will," he said, voice barely audible, "but not yet." He stepped back, giving her space, yet the tension in the air was palpable. Olivia's mind spun as she tried to process his words, but one thing was clear. This man, this stranger, was dangerous. And yet, her heart wouldn't let her turn away. It was as if she was meant to be with him, even though she didn't know why. Tonight, everything was about to change. But she had no idea how deep the danger went, or how much. She was about to lose. Olivia stood in the middle of the cafe, her mind racing. Ethan's words echoed in her ears, a constant reminder of the mystery surrounding him. She tried to focus on the present, on the heat of his gaze, but it was impossible to ignore the strange pull that seemed to draw her in, as if their destinies were intertwined. "Are you okay?" Ethan's voice broke through her thoughts. His face was closer now, his breath warm against her cheek, and for a moment, she forgot where she was. "I'm fine," Olivia said, forcing a smile. But inside, she was anything but fine. She had met plenty of strange people before, but Ethan, he was different. Too different. Yet, she couldn't bring herself to walk away. There was something in his eyes, something that told her he was hiding more than just his identity. "What are you really?" she asked, the words slipping out before she could stop them. Ethan's expression softened, his lips parting slightly, as if considering her question carefully. "What I am doesn't matter," he said quietly. "What matters is that I'm here. And you're here. That's all that matters." Olivia felt a shiver run down her spine. His presence was overwhelming, his intensity like a force she couldn't fight. She wanted to ask him more, but something stopped her. "I don't understand," she whispered. Ethan's eyes grew darker, and for a moment, she saw something flicker, something ancient and powerful, hidden beneath the surface. "You will," he replied, his voice almost a promise. Olivia felt her heart race as she met his gaze. She didn't know what he meant, but she could feel the weight of it. Everything about this moment felt wrong, yet she couldn't look away. She wanted answers, but she also knew that the truth, whatever it was, might shatter everything she thought she knew. "Why are you doing this?" she asked, her voice trembling. Ethan's hand reached out, gently brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Because I have no choice." Olivia's breath caught in her throat. The way he said it, the finality in his tone, it was as though he had been waiting for this moment for centuries. And somehow, she knew that this was just the beginning. The beginning of something she couldn't escape, no matter how hard she tried. Olivia's heart was pounding in her chest, the silence between them thick and heavy. She had heard stories, of course. Everyone had heard the rumors about Ethan Blackwood, the mysterious man who never seemed to age, whose eyes held secrets no one could ever truly understand. But this was different. Standing there with him, the intensity of the moment, She realized how little she actually knew. She wanted to step back, to run, but something kept her rooted to the spot. Ethan's presence was magnetic, his very being pulling her closer, even as every instinct told her to be cautious. "What are you really afraid of?" Ethan asked, his voice low, almost too calm. Olivia blinked, taken aback by his question. "Afraid?" she echoed. "You mean, besides the fact that you just told me you're a vampire?" Ethan didn't smile. His gaze softened, and for a moment, Olivia could have sworn she saw a flicker of something vulnerable in his eyes. "I didn't want to scare you," he admitted, his voice almost apologetic. "But I can't hide the truth anymore." Olivia swallowed hard, the weight of his words pressing down on her chest. She had always prided herself on being rational, grounded in reality. But now, with Ethan standing in front of her, his presence as undeniable as the night itself, she wasn't so sure. "What does this mean for us?" she asked quietly, her voice barely a whisper. Ethan's eyes darkened as he took a step closer, his every movement deliberate. "It means we can't keep pretending that we're just two people meeting by chance." His voice was thick with meaning, and Olivia felt a chill run through her as the full weight of his words settled in. "But we can't be together," she said, the words coming out before she could stop them. "It's not just about you and me. It's dangerous." Ethan's face darkened at the mention of danger, his jaw tightening. "I've lived with danger all my life," he replied, his voice hardening. "But I've never known a danger like this. You're not just anyone, Olivia." Olivia's breath caught in her throat. She could feel the truth in his words, a truth she wasn't ready to face. She wasn't just anyone, and neither was he. Olivia could feel the weight of his words hanging in the air, suffocating her. She wanted to argue, to push back against the impossible truth he had just laid out before her, but the quiet certainty in his voice made it hard to find the words. Her mind raced, trying to comprehend the impossible situation she had found herself in. Ethan wasn't just a man with secrets. He was something far older, far more dangerous than anything she had imagined. "What do you mean? I'm not just anyone," she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Ethan took a deep breath, his gaze unwavering. "You have a connection to me, Olivia," he said softly. "A connection I've been waiting for." Olivia felt a shiver run down her spine. She shook her head, trying to dismiss his words. "I don't understand. We barely know each other." Ethan's eyes softened as he stepped closer. "But that's just it. You do know me, in a way that no one else does." He reached out, gently brushing a strand of hair from her face, his fingers warm against her skin. Olivia's breath caught in her throat, her heart pounding. She wanted to pull away, to flee from the intensity of the moment, but something in his touch kept her still. "You're saying this is fate?" she asked, her voice trembling. Ethan's eyes flickered with something deep, something ancient. "It's more than fate, Olivia. It's destiny." The word hung in the air between them, heavy and final. Olivia felt a surge of fear, but also something else, a longing, a pull she couldn't deny. "I don't know if I can do this," she whispered, her mind still spinning. Ethan stepped back, his expression unreadable. "You don't have to decide now. But know this, Olivia, I will always be here, whether you want me to be or not." His words lingered in the air, and with that, he turned and walked away, leaving Olivia standing in the cafe, her heart racing, her mind reeling. She didn't know what to believe anymore, but one thing was certain, her life had just changed forever. Olivia stood there, the words Ethan had spoken still echoing in her mind, a constant reminder of the impossible situation she now found herself in. The cafe around her felt distant. The chatter of customers faded into the background as she tried to make sense of everything. The connection she felt with Ethan was undeniable, but it terrified her. She had never believed in fate, never thought that her life could be so dramatically altered by the presence of a single person. And yet, here she was, unable to shake the pull between them. She left the cafe and walked through the streets, the evening air cool against her skin, but her thoughts were consumed by Ethan. She had to know more. What did he mean by destiny? What connection could they possibly share? Her mind raced, each question leading to more uncertainty. But then, as if the universe itself had conspired to bring them together again, she saw him. Ethan stood in the shadows of an alley, waiting for her. She didn't have to ask how he knew where she was. He always seemed to be watching, always a step ahead. "You didn't have to follow me," she said, trying to keep her voice steady, though her heart was beating faster. Ethan stepped forward, his expression unreadable. I didn't want to, he said softly, but I knew you would need answers. You can't keep running from this. His words were like a weight pressing on her chest. She had thought she could push him away, but now she realized she couldn't. The pull between them was stronger than her fear. What do you want from me? She asked, the question slipping out before she could stop it. Ethan's eyes softened, but there was a hint of something deeper there. I want you to understand, he said, his voice gentle but firm. This is not something I can explain in a few words, but I will show you, if you let me. Olivia's breath caught in her throat. She wanted to resist, to run, but the truth was, she was already too far gone. She nodded slowly, her voice barely a whisper. Show me. As Olivia nodded, Ethan's expression softened, a flicker of something unreadable in his eyes. He reached out, gently taking her hand, his touch surprisingly warm against her cold skin. You're not the first human I've met, he said quietly, leading her down the dark alley. But you are the first I've ever chosen. His words sent a shiver down her spine. She wanted to pull away, to question him, but the way he spoke, so certain, so calm, made it impossible to doubt. They walked through the winding streets of the city, the sounds of the world around them muffled by the weight of the moment. As they approached a quiet park, Ethan stopped, turning to face her. You need to understand, Olivia. I'm not like others. What I am is old, much older than you can imagine. And I've waited for centuries for a connection like this. Olivia swallowed, the knot in her stomach tightening. What do you mean? A connection? We've only just met. Ethan's gaze never wavered. It's not about time. It's about something deeper, something that's always been there, waiting for us to find it. He stepped closer, his presence overwhelming, yet oddly comforting. I can't explain it, but I know you feel it too. The pull between us. It's not just fate, Olivia. It's destiny. The word hung in the air, heavy with meaning. Olivia's mind raced, trying to process everything he was saying, but the more she thought about it, the more she realized how little she truly understood. I don't know if I can believe this, she whispered. It's too much. Ethan's eyes softened with understanding. I know it's overwhelming, but you don't have to make a decision right now. Just know this. I'll always be here, no matter what. The choice is yours, but I won't let you face this alone. His words wrapped around her like a protective shield, and for the first time, Olivia felt like maybe, just maybe, she wasn't as alone as she had always believed. The weight of her choice loomed ahead, but for the first time in her life, she didn't feel quite so afraid of what came next. Olivia stood frozen for a moment, the weight of Ethan's words sinking in. His promise to always be there felt like a lifeline, but it also terrified her. The city around them was quiet now, as if the world had paused for just a moment to allow her to make a choice. She could feel the pull toward him, stronger than anything she had ever known, but at the same time, she feared what that pull might cost her. What happens if I choose this? Choose you, she asked, her voice trembling slightly. Ethan stepped closer, his presence almost overwhelming, but comforting in a way she couldn't explain. If you choose this, Olivia, you choose a life that most can't even imagine. A life that comes with challenges, yes, but also a life with me, one that I promise will be like no other. Together, we will be unstoppable. The certainty in his voice sent a ripple of fear and excitement through her. She wasn't sure if she was ready for such a drastic change. And if I don't choose you, she asked, almost afraid to hear the answer. Ethan's expression softened, a shadow of sadness flickering across his face. If you don't choose me, Olivia, then you go back to your life, and I fade into the shadows, just like I always have. But know that I will never truly leave you. You'll always feel the pull, and you'll always wonder what could have been. The thought of walking away from him felt impossible, like leaving behind a part of herself she had only just discovered. I don't know what to do, she whispered, her heart heavy with the weight of the decision. Ethan reached out, his fingers brushing hers lightly. You don't have to decide right now. Just know that I will be here whenever you're ready. This is your choice, and I will respect it, no matter what. Olivia looked into his eyes, seeing something raw and vulnerable that she hadn't noticed before. For the first time, she felt the weight of her decision, but also the weight of what she could gain. She wasn't sure what the future held, but she knew one thing for certain. Her life would never be the same again. She took a deep breath, looking at him, ready to make the choice that would change everything. Olivia stood there, the weight of the decision pressing down on her chest. Ethan's words echoed in her mind, and for the first time in her life, she felt as though the path ahead of her had never been so uncertain, yet so clear. She looked into his eyes, seeing the centuries of experience, the eternal patience, and something deeper, an honesty that spoke to the very core of her. "I don't want to regret this," she whispered, her voice trembling, but her heart was sure. Ethan stepped forward, his hand gently brushing her cheek, as if reassuring her that no matter what, everything would be all right. "You won't, Olivia. I promise you. We'll face everything together, as equals." She felt her breath catch in her throat. The weight of his promise wasn't something he could easily take back. He wasn't just offering her a life with him. He was offering her a bond that transcended everything she had ever known. "Are you ready?" Ethan asked softly, his voice full of anticipation, but there was no urgency, just a quiet understanding. Olivia nodded slowly. She had no idea what awaited her, but she couldn't deny the pull she felt toward him. "Yes," she said, her voice steady. Ethan's lips curved into a soft smile, a look of relief crossing his face. "Then let's go, Olivia. Together." With that, he reached out, taking her hand firmly in his, and for the first time, Olivia didn't hesitate. She stepped into his world, the one he had been waiting to share with her for centuries, the world where everything was possible, but everything also came with a price. As they walked forward, the night around them seemed to shimmer with possibilities, the city lights flickering in the distance like a dream just out of reach. Olivia knew her life would never be the same. She had chosen him. She had chosen them. And whatever came next, she would face it with him by her side. The night wrapped around them like a blanket as Olivia walked beside Ethan, the world around them quiet, yet full of unspoken tension. She had made her choice, and now, as they moved forward, she couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. The city, once so familiar, now seemed like a strange, distant place. They walked through the empty streets, the only sound the soft rhythm of their footsteps on the pavement. Ethan's presence beside her was both comforting and overwhelming, as if she had stepped into a world that wasn't entirely her own. "You're not alone anymore," Ethan said, his voice breaking through the silence. Olivia glanced up at him, seeing the sincerity in his eyes. She had never felt so unsure of anything in her life, yet at the same time, something about this felt right. "I know," she whispered. They reached a small, secluded park, its benches empty under the soft glow of a single streetlight. Ethan stopped, turning to face her. "This is where it all changes," he said softly, his gaze intense. "From now on, everything will be different. For both of us." Olivia felt her heart race again, her mind spinning with the weight of his words. "What do we do now?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Ethan's expression softened, a rare tenderness showing through. "Now we live. Together. And we learn what it means to be part of this world, my world." Olivia looked into his eyes, and for the first time, she felt the truth of his words. She wasn't just stepping into his world, she was becoming a part of it. A part of something ancient and timeless. "I'm ready," she said, her voice steady with resolve. Ethan smiled, a look of quiet satisfaction crossing his features. "You've already made the first step. The rest will come." As they stood there, in the quiet park, Olivia realized that this was just the beginning of a new chapter in her life. The future was unknown,